The 15th century dawned with Europe on the cusp of a new era. The continent was awakening to a period of unprecedented exploration and discovery, driven by a thirst for knowledge, wealth, and power. This era, known as the Age of Exploration, would reshape the world in ways that were unimaginable at the time. The Age of Exploration was born from a potent mix of ambition and avarice. European nations, eager to expand their horizons and increase their wealth, began to look beyond their borders. The promise of uncharted territories and untold riches beckoned adventurers and monarchs alike. European powers, particularly Spain and Portugal, were driven by a relentless desire for wealth and influence. These nations, with their powerful navies and ambitious leaders, sought to dominate the seas and control the lucrative trade routes that connected Europe to the rest of the world. The spice trade, a lucrative commerce in exotic spices from the East Indies, fueled this ambition. Spices such as pepper, cinnamon, and cloves were not only valuable commodities but also symbols of status and wealth. The demand for these exotic goods in Europe was insatiable. These spices, including pepper, cinnamon, and cloves, were highly prized in Europe. They were used to enhance the flavor of food, preserve meat, and create luxurious perfumes. In addition, many spices were believed to have medicinal properties, making them even more valuable. In medieval kitchens, spices were essential ingredients, transforming simple dishes into culinary delights. Apothecaries stocked a variety of spices and herbs, which were used to treat ailments and improve health. The allure of these exotic goods drove European explorers to seek new trade routes and sources. Portugal, under the visionary leadership of Prince Henry the Navigator, had taken an early lead in the race to the east. Prince Henry, a patron of explorers and navigators, established a school for navigation and funded numerous expeditions along the African coast. Portuguese explorers had established a sea route around Africa, granting them access to the Indian Ocean and its riches. This monumental achievement opened up new possibilities for trade and exploration, allowing Portugal to establish a foothold in the lucrative spice trade. This success spurred Spain's ambition. The Spanish monarchs, eager to compete with their Portuguese rivals, sought their own path to the east. They were determined to find a route that would circumvent Portuguese control and secure their share of the spice trade's immense profits. The Spanish monarchs sought their own path to the east, one that would circumvent Portuguese control and secure their share of the spice trade's immense profits. They believed that by finding a new route they could establish their dominance and expand their empire. Christopher Columbus's voyage in 1492, financed by the Spanish crown, aimed to reach Asia by sailing westward. Columbus believed that by crossing the Atlantic Ocean he could find a direct route to the rich markets of Asia, bypassing the need to navigate around Africa. His discovery of the Americas, while not the intended destination, further intensified the rivalry between Spain and Portugal. The newfound lands offered new opportunities for wealth and expansion, but also sparked conflicts over territorial claims and control of resources. The Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494 attempted to divide the newly discovered lands between the two powers. This agreement, brokered by the Pope, aimed to prevent conflict by establishing a clear line of demarcation between Spanish and Portuguese territories. However, the quest for a westward route to the Spice Islands remained a tantalizing objective for Spain. The promise of untold riches and the desire to outmaneuver their Portuguese rivals drove Spanish explorers to continue their search for a direct route to the east. It was into this world of exploration, competition, and the allure of the East that Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer with a bold vision, would emerge. Magellan's ambition and determination would lead him to undertake one of the most daring and significant voyages in the history of exploration, forever changing the course of human history. Ferdinand Magellan was born into a family of minor nobility in Portugal around 1480. His early life was marked by the privileges and responsibilities that came with his noble status, but it was clear from a young age that Magellan was destined for something greater. From a young age, he displayed a thirst for adventure and a fascination with the sea. He would often be found gazing out at the horizon, dreaming of distant lands and uncharted waters. His curiosity was insatiable, and he was determined to explore the world beyond his immediate surroundings. He joined the Portuguese Navy, serving in India and Africa. These voyages were not just about exploration, they were about survival, strategy, and the relentless pursuit of wealth and power. Magellan's time in the Navy was a crucible that forged his skills and tested his mettle. These experiences honed his navigational skills and exposed him to the lucrative spice trade. He learned to read the stars, to understand the winds and currents, and to navigate the treacherous waters of the Indian Ocean. The spice trade was the lifeblood of the Portuguese Empire, and Magellan saw firsthand the wealth it generated. Magellan rose through the ranks, demonstrating his capabilities as a skilled navigator and a courageous leader. His leadership was characterized by a blend of boldness and caution, a willingness to take risks, but also a keen awareness of the dangers that lay ahead. However, his ambitions soon outstripped the opportunities available to him in Portugal. He grew frustrated with the limitations imposed by his homeland and began to look elsewhere for opportunities to fulfill his dreams. He believed that a westward route to the Spice Islands, shorter than the Portuguese route around Africa, was possible. This idea was revolutionary and controversial, challenging the established maritime routes and the dominance of the Portuguese Empire. This belief, coupled with a perceived slight from the Portuguese king, led Magellan to offer his services to Spain. He was determined to prove his theory and to find a new route that would change the course of history. Magellan presented his audacious plan to King Charles I of Spain. He spoke with passion and conviction, outlining the potential benefits of his proposed voyage and the strategic advantages it would bring to Spain. He proposed to sail west, proving that the Spice Islands lay within the Spanish sphere of influence as defined by the Treaty of Tordesillas. This treaty had divided the world between Spain and Portugal, and Magellan's plan aimed to exploit this division to Spain's advantage. His proposal promised not only a lucrative trade route, but also the expansion of the Spanish Empire and the spread of Christianity. Magellan's vision was grand and far-reaching, encompassing not just economic gain, but also the spread of Spanish culture and religion. King Charles, eager to challenge Portuguese dominance and secure Spain's claim to the east, agreed to finance the expedition. This decision set the stage for one of the most daring and consequential voyages in the history of exploration, a journey that would test the limits of human endurance and change the world forever. In September 1519, Magellan set sail from Seville, Spain, commanding a fleet of 5 ships and a crew of around 270 men. Their journey began with a long and arduous crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. The vastness of the ocean, the unpredictable weather, and the constant threat of disease tested the limits of human endurance. The crew, a diverse mix of nationalities and personalities, faced numerous challenges. Food and water supplies dwindled, and scurvy, a debilitating disease caused by vitamin C deficiency, ravaged the men. Magellan's leadership was tested as he struggled to maintain morale and discipline amongst his weary and increasingly desperate crew. Despite these hardships, Magellan pressed on, driven by his unwavering belief in his mission. He navigated his fleet through treacherous storms and across uncharted waters. The journey south along the coast of South America proved to be a long and arduous one. The coastline was unfamiliar, and the search for a passage through to the west seemed endless. Section 4. Through the Strait, a treacherous passage to a new ocean. After months of sailing south along the South American coast, Magellan and his crew finally discovered a passage through the labyrinthine channels and islands at the continent's southern tip. This discovery was not just a geographical breakthrough, but a testament to their perseverance and navigational prowess. The crew had endured harsh weather, dwindling supplies, and the ever-present threat of mutiny, yet their determination never wavered. This passage, which would later bear his name as the Strait of Magellan, offered a perilous but navigable route to the west. It was a narrow, winding waterway that cut through the southern tip of South America, connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The discovery of this strait was a monumental achievement, opening up new possibilities for trade and exploration. The passage through the strait was fraught with danger. The narrow channels were often shrouded in fog, making navigation extremely difficult. The waters were treacherous, with strong currents and hidden rocks that could easily wreck a ship. The weather was unpredictable, with sudden storms that could turn the sea into a raging tempest. Strong currents, unpredictable winds, and hidden rocks threatened the ships at every turn. The crew had to be constantly vigilant, working tirelessly to keep the ships on course. The physical and mental strain was immense as they battled the elements day and night. The crew, exhausted and on edge, faced each challenge with a mixture of fear and determination. They knew that one wrong move could spell disaster, but they also knew that turning back was not an option. Their survival depended on their ability to navigate this treacherous passage. Magellan's navigational skills and leadership were paramount in guiding the fleet through this treacherous waterway. His experience and calm demeanor inspired confidence in his men, even in the most dire situations. He made critical decisions that ensured the safety of the fleet, steering them through the narrowest and most dangerous parts of the strait. Emerging from the Strait of Magellan into the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean was a moment of triumph and relief for Magellan and his crew. They had navigated one of the most dangerous passages in the world and emerged unscathed. The sight of the open ocean was a welcome relief, a sign that they had overcome one of the greatest challenges of their journey. Proving the existence of a sea route to the west. This was a significant milestone, not just for Magellan and his crew, but for the entire world. It opened up new possibilities for trade and exploration, changing the course of history. However, the vastness of the Pacific, which they named for its seemingly calm waters, presented a new set of challenges. The ocean was vast and uncharted, and the crew had no idea what lay ahead. They would need to rely on their skills, their courage, and their determination to navigate this new and unknown expanse. The journey was far from over, but they had proven that they could overcome any obstacle in their path. Section 5. Landfall in the Philippines, a warm welcome and shifting alliances. After months at sea with provisions dwindling and scurvy ravaging the crew, Magellan and his fleet made landfall in the Philippines in March 1521. They landed on the island of Homonhan, where they were greeted warmly by the local inhabitants. The Filipinos, accustomed to trading with Chinese and Arab merchants, welcomed the Europeans. Magellan, eager to replenish his supplies and establish friendly relations, exchanged gifts with the local chieftain. He learned that the islands were part of a complex network of trade and alliances. The Filipinos, he observed, were skilled navigators and traders, with a rich culture and a complex social structure. Magellan's arrival marked the first recorded encounter between Europeans and the inhabitants of the Philippine archipelago. He quickly realized the strategic importance of these islands. Their location, within reach of the Spice Islands, made them a potential hub for trade and a base for Spanish expansion in the region.